Hi, honeys. It's Michelle. I'm here today to do a book tag. The book tag I'm doing is a TBR or to be read book tag. There's a lady on here. Her name is Heather, and she has a page called Bookables. I love her page. She does a bunch of book videos, and then she also does vlogs. And she likes to do tag videos, and she's invited her viewers to do tag videos as well. And since I love watching tag videos, I decided that I will do this one. And then I've got another one coming up next month that's a fall tag video that I want to do as well. But I'm excited to do this. I think these are so fun. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and before we get started, I did want to let you know, if you're interested in watching her videos, I will put the video that inspired me to do this one in the description box below. I'll try to put it up here. I don't know how to do that yet though. So I'll see if I can figure it out. If I can figure it out, it'll be up there too. Okay. How do you keep track of your TBR pile? Okay, I have this bookshelf that, if this is the edge of the bookshelf, it's got these edges on it. And so I turn my books facing out, and all the way from the bottom to the top of the bookshelf is where I have my to be read books. And usually the top 3 or 4 are what I'm planning on reading next. And so if I finish a book, I'll grab the top 3 or 4, and whichever one I feel like reading next is the one that I read. I try to separate them for months, because there are certain books that you want to read in certain months, right? Or because there are certain books that I want to read in certain months. So I have like these little note card things that have months written on them, and I'll kind of stick them in there. So I'll look down and, okay, those are meant for November and that kind of thing. The further down the to be read pile goes, the more that they're just to be thrown in whenever. Is your TBR mostly print or ebook? It is completely print. I am not an ebook person. I just feel like I spend so much time looking at computers and screens at work, and then when I'm watching YouTube videos or I'm editing YouTube or posting it, I just don't want to look at screens anymore. I want to look at a paper book. But it also, and I know people tell me all the time that you can change the glare on them, but they always hurt my eyes. They just feel funny. It just grates at me. I feel like I end up getting a headache, and it's just not worth it, in my opinion. I like the feel of a book. How do you determine which book from your TBR to read next? Well, okay, like I just said, it's one of the top 3 books in the pile that I usually read next. Unless I just get a brand new book and I'm just super excited to read it when it was just released, then I'll probably put that at the top of my pile. A book that's been on your TBR list the longest. The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. Let's see, when did this book come out? That'll tell you how long it's been sitting on my TBR pile. 2013. I was in a book club with some of my girlfriends, and we had got this book, and I can't even remember what happened, but I didn't get around to reading it. Or I think I ordered it online, and by the time it came, we were on to the next book. That's what it was. I bought it online. So it's been sitting in my TBR pile ever since. So for 7 years. I swear I'm going to read it though. Maybe not this year, but I will read it. A book you recently added to your TBR. Fannie Flagg, A Redbird Christmas. And I'm super excited about this book. I love Christmas books. So you know I'll be reading this in December. A book in your TBR strictly because of its beautiful cover. I do have one of those. This one. My Absolute Darling by Gabriel. Tallent. it just makes me feel like it's Christmas time. It's got this beautiful wintry cover. I love trees. I love looking at trees up close. I love the way trees smell. Just because of the cover alone, I have it in my head that I have to read this in December or January. This is not a Christmas themed book by any means, but I have to read it at that time of year just because of the cover. But yeah, the cover is what drew me in. It was on the clearance bin at Barnes and Noble, and I saw the cover and I was like, oh, I don't even know what this says on the back, but I have to have it. And then I read it and I was like, okay, that looks like it could be pretty good, but I still had to have it because of the cover. Like, this is one of those books that eventually, when I have my little bookshelf that I can sit in front of and talk about books, when we get a house one day, this will be facing out because I just love the cover that much. A book on your TBR that you never plan on reading. I actually don't have any that I don't plan on reading. Even the Goldfinch, which has been sitting there by far the longest, I still plan on reading it. I still want to read it. I don't know why I would put something on my TBR pile if I didn't intend on reading it. But an unpublished book on your TBR that you're excited for. Oh, okay, that one's easy. Dying in a Winter Wonderland by Vicki Delaney. It's a cozy mystery series that she writes, and it's a year-round Christmas series. It's coming out on the 29th of September. It's the 5th book in the series. I've read all 4 leading up to it, and I can't wait for the 5th one. I'm a big cozy mystery fan. In fact, if you are interested in learning about cozy mysteries, I do my schedules for filming pretty ahead of time, but I will be doing a video in the middle of November about cozy mysteries. I feel like that's the perfect time to do it because so many of the cozy mysteries that really had me fall in love with cozy mysteries were Christmas themed. And so I thought, well, the middle of November would be a great time to talk about some of the different series that I love and why I love them and what's so wonderful about them and so on and so forth. Anyway, I'm long-winded, aren't I? I'm sorry. Kind of. It's just who I am. A book on your TBR that everyone has read but you. 1984 by George Orwell. I've never read this. I don't know how everybody else my age seems to have read it in high school, but I didn't really show up to high school a lot. I was more of a college person. So that might be why, but I never read this. So I plan on reading it in October because I hear it's very political. I thought it would make sense to read it kind of right before voting time. I know, I'm kind of nerdy that way. I get very seasonal and very, what time of the year, you know? A book on your TBR that everyone recommends to you. Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. I've had this on my TBR for a little while now, but now that I'm doing Book of the Month, I keep grabbing my Book of the Month and trying to finish that before the month is over. I have it in my head I want to read 6 books a month, and I keep reading 3 or 4. I don't know why, but I do. And this one is so thick that I find it a little bit off-putting, so I keep putting it at the bottom of the pile. But I hear that it's so good, I'll read it quickly. So I have it in my head. I'm going to read it in November. We'll see what happens. A book on your TBR that you're dying to read. The Whisper Man by Alex North. I just read... I'll put the name of it here. I can't remember the name of it, but I just read a book of his a couple months ago, and I just thought it was so good. I love his writing, and it was scary and spooky, and I love scary, spooky books, so I thought I will definitely read this in October. I kind of do this thing where in September I start reading books that kind of warm me up in one way or another for scary October. And then in November, I try to read like really nurturing, cozy books. And then December, it's Christmas books and so on and so forth. So I'm waiting until October to read this, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. How many books are on your TBR shelf? Okay, I counted 48. And that sounds like a lot. Maybe it doesn't, though, depending on how many books you read. A lot of book lovers might have even more than that on their TBR shelf. But I will say at least 12 of them are to be reread, not to be read for the first time. So that's a little bit of a difference there. So I guess if you think of it that way, I'd probably say between 30 and 36 books that I have not ever read that I intend on reading. So that is it for my TBR tag. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to tune in 2 weeks, the 30th of September, which is Wednesday. I will be doing a video that will be my September book review. Have a great rest of your day. I love you. Bye.